Pro Football player Travis Kelce is pressed for time during the football season. So he does two things at once. Whether it's grilling while mowing.
Two things at once!
Or getting this season's updated COVID-19 shot at the same visit as his flu shot.
Two things at once.
You can be like Travis and ask your pharmacist about getting this season's COVID-19 shot at the same visit as your flu shot, if you're due for both, as recommended by the CDC. Learn more and schedule at vaxassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Okay, round two. Name something that's not boring.
A laundry? Ooh, a book club. Computer solitaire, huh?
Ah, oh, sorry, we were looking for Chumba Casino. That's right, ChumbaCasino.com has over 100 casino-style games. Join today and play for free for your chance to redeem some serious prizes. ChumbaCasino.com. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+ terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
Thanks for tuning into our podcast. We love having you here, and it's our mission to bring you all the latest and greatest tips, skills, and know-how to make you the best that you can be. We know that you have it in you, and we're going to show you how. Now, let's get started.
This episode is powered by Poddex.
Thank you for tuning in today. You are now listening to That Will Never Work Podcast with your host, Maurice Chisholm.
Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone. Thank you very much for tuning in. You know, it is now we are within the fourth quarter of the year. And a lot of times, I know for myself, you know, I start to prepare for something else. I start looking at something else. Either it would be for the holidays or whatever. And I don't put forth a lot of effort a lot of times toward this end of the year. I start to wind down. You know, I guess I'm starting to drag and feel down about certain situations, whatever it is. And or I start concentrating on other things, such as the holidays, you know, the kids being in school, things like that. I'm not as energized as I am in the beginning of the year. And I just wonder how many of you out there are struggling with something similar. Do you understand what it is that's holding you back? Do you understand or see the challenges that you have to be consistent in moving forward? So first, let's understand, you know, and I'm going to explain to you my situation and how I am progressively working through it. So most of you know that my birthday is in April. So what happens is, and then you have New Year's Day in January, right? Of course, Maurice, right? So in the United States. So what happens is, for me, I set goals to reach, or I'm sorry, I set I set goals for the year, for the incoming year. You know, I put them write them down. You know, I was told to write my goals and stuff down, put it in my pocket. Some of us were told to put money in our pockets for when the new year comes in. Some of us was told to put black eyed peas in our wallets. Various things to bring in the new year on a positive note and to something to look forward to. Myself, you know, I have practiced all these types of beliefs, if you will. And at the same time, on New Year's Day, I would get up. And one time I was doing it with my uncle, and then eventually I was doing it on my own, where I was going into people's homes, being the first male into these houses. And so I was practicing things to say, hey, you know what? We are going to have good luck this year. We're going to have blessings and monetary advancements, whatever it might have been. And so only 2-3 short months later, right, is my birthday. And so I am energized because January, and my thought has been to keep up the momentum for me to reach my goals as I'm going through my birthday. And so I count the times, that I have achieved something, whatever the goal was. And I'm working real hard and I'm creative and I'm moving and things like that. My birthday comes. And then what happens after my birthday, is warm. So I'm really also energized because it's warm outside. We're coming out the cold. I'm not a cold person like that. Even though I like to wear hoodies all the time. And I like to get dressed up. But also I like the warm air. I like to be able to put my windows down on my car or open up the windows in the house and let the breeze flow through, or sit outside on the porch or the deck or in the yard or things like that. I just like springtime, and it really, really energizes me as an April baby. How many of you out there are energized in very similar ways? You look at your birthday or a special time of year, and you're energized to accomplish, to move forward, to inspire. You're motivated to make things happen. So for me, what happens after that is you have Mother's Day, and in May you have June being Father's Day, and then July comes, is my daughter's birthday. August comes, I'm trying to get them ready to go to school, but I'm still in, grind mode, hustle mode, and I am really finding ways to get things done. September comes, it's my son's birthday. October is here. It's my wife's birthday. Also in September is my wedding anniversary. And now I kind of feel like my energy is empty. So I realized that in order for me to keep it going, to be motivated, I have to continually encourage myself with new goals or understanding what's happening as the year goes along with new projects, potential projects, what ideas I've had in the very beginning of the year. I have started to push them down towards the middle or the end of the year. So I still have something to work to or work through or work for as the year progresses. And I'm not burning myself out in half to 3/4 of the year. And then I'm not productive in the last quarter. And now when I go into the new year, I feel drained. I feel unorganized. I feel unmotivated. I have all these negative feelings in past years when it comes to the new year. Well, this year is a little different. I have challenged myself through, those of you who know, I have multiple podcasts. You're listening to That Will Nevr Work podcast. I also have the No Fruits podcast and the Neighbors podcast. The Neighbors podcast has been on hiatus for a little while, but we are looking to re-energize that. And that's one of the things that I have on my calendar to revisit. Now, granted, I am in school. Some things have been put on the back burner. I realized that in order for me to achieve some goals, I can't overwhelm myself with other projects and other situations. So I have to have a healthy balance as I am moving forward one way or the other. So as we are going into quarter number 4, have you put together a plan that will motivate you through the whole year? Have you put together a strategic plan to say, hey, I would like to reach these goals by a certain time? So the reason why I brought up the podcast, my goal for this year, and it started off in March, for me to reach over 5,000 downloads total across all 3 platforms for my podcast. I actually reached it September 29th, I believe. And as of today, which is only 3-4 days later, I am officially 63 downloads over that number. So it's only October. My goal or my plan was to have that done by December 31st. So this is what I mean by putting together a plan that's going to sustain you through the rest of the year. Now, here's my personal challenge at this point. Is October, and I'm looking at where my podcasts are, where those numbers are, who, the listeners, what I've been averaging every year. And so each podcast, I have put down additional numbers for them to reach for the rest of the year, which will give me a grander picture where I believe in 3 months I can have a total of 1,000 downloads in 3 months. That's my challenge. Are you challenging yourself in a healthy situation where it can, even though it can look like a small goal, but it's actually a bigger goal that's in the works? So how are you making healthy decisions, healthy goals that sustains you through the whole year, where you do not have a moment of drought or feeling despair or unmotivated? How do you put together a plan that will sustain you for the whole year? I had talked to our co-host, being Latoya Little, Coach Latoya Little, and talking about she's constantly revisiting her vision board. Are you doing the same? Are you constantly revisiting what your goals are, how to get there, what needs to happen, what's the process, where it's going to happen, when it's going to happen? How are you putting those things in a way that you can follow it, that is not overwhelming and taxing to you? I encourage you today that you can get it done. Thank you very much for listening.
Loved what you've heard on this week's episode? Well, the answer is simple. It would mean the world to us if you could head over to iTunes and leave us a 5-star review and feedback. Spreading the word really is the best way to grow our podcast and achieve even greater things. Thank you.
With Lucky Land Slots, you can get lucky just about anywhere.
Dearly beloved, we are gathered here today to... Has anyone seen the bride and groom?
Sorry, we're here. We were getting lucky in the limo and we lost track of time.
No, Lucky Land Casino, with cash prizes that add up quicker than a guest registry.
In that case, I pronounce you lucky.
Play for free at LuckyLandSlots.com. Daily bonuses are waiting. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+. Terms and conditions apply. See website for details.